Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are changing gears completely, really shifting focus.
That's right.
We're not digging into global markets or obscure history this time. Nope. We're diving straight into a method, a roadmap really, that claims to be one of the absolute quickest ways to make some money online right now.
Yeah, for this deep dive, we looked at a whole stack of sources, and they all detail this very precise step-by-step pipeline.
A pipeline for what exactly?
The goal is super rapid AI-powered content generation. We're talking specifically about children's books, maybe other digital products too, designed so you can sell them, like, immediately.
Okay, interesting. And I hear there's a specific AI tool at the heart of this whole thing. We should probably name it right off the bat.
We should. It's called Nano. Uh, According to the sources, the people outlining this method, Nano is a new image editing tool. You find it inside Google's Gemini platform.
Nano banana, huh?
Yeah, and the source creator was, well, pretty blunt about it. They said it's pretty much the best image generator I've seen so far. So, high praise.
And the whole idea is that it's incredibly fast and easy to get going.
That's the promise, yeah. Unprecedented speed, easy setup. Almost sounds too good to be true.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Nano banana sounds fun almost, but let's get into the mechanics. What exactly is this tool? How new is it? How do you get access?
Well, the key detail seems to be that it's extremely new. Like one source mentioned, it was barely a week old when they were writing.
Wow, okay, really fresh.
Yeah. And you get to it through Google's interface for Gemini, so it's accessible, it's integrated, and right now, crucially, it's the engine for this whole instant content idea.
Right. Now, anyone who's messed around with powerful AI, they know there's usually a catch. Even if the tool says free, there's often a cost in terms of resources, right?
Right.
Did the sources mention anything about, like, the actual costs?
They did, yes. And this is where, you might want to pause and think about the potential bottleneck down the line. Here it comes. Right now, the tool is free to use, but it works on a credit system, or tokens, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And the source creator, they ran a little test.
Yeah.
Generated an 8-page book. And that single test used up about 10,000 credits.
Hold on. 10,000 for just 8 pages.
Yep, 10,000.
That sounds huge. I mean, even if Google's giving away credits now, that's an astronomical amount per product. That seems like a massive bottleneck just waiting to snap shut the moment they decide to charge real money for those credits.
Exactly. That's the immediate red flag, right? For you, the listener, thinking about this.
Did the sources talk about that? About whether this is sustainable long term?
Not really. No detailed ROI analysis or anything like that. The whole premise in the source material seems to be built on the assumption that this current free-for-all, this generosity, will last long enough for you to build something profitable.
Risky assumption.
It is. But yeah, that 10,000 credit number, it tells you this isn't going to be cheap to run if you're doing it at scale. It definitely reinforces the idea that maybe this is a very temporary window, a chance for, ultra-rapid content dumping before the rules change.
Okay, so that kind of reframes the whole mission, doesn't it? It's not just about making content quickly. It's a race against the clock before the pricing model potentially changes everything.
Precisely.
So, all right, let's look at the actual content creation then. We're not just making nice pictures. The goal is sellable digital products. What was the example prompt they used for that 10-page kids book?
It was surprisingly simple, almost disappointingly so. The source cited it exactly. Create a 10-page kids book about a horse with image and text.
Just that. No complex parameters or style guides.
Apparently not for this example, just that straight command.
And this is where the nano banana claim really kicks in, right? The speed. The creators said the images popped up. How fast?
Literally instantly. That was the quote. You hit enter and bam, you supposedly have 8 or 10 pages of illustrations plus the text to go with them, ready to go.
Wow. Okay.
That speed, that instantaneity, that's the core innovation they're highlighting. Think about it. You're potentially skipping weeks, maybe months, back and forth with an illustrator.
Right. No briefs, no revisions.
Exactly. You get detailed, coherent illustrations and a story basically generated in 0 time. That's the raw material this whole system runs on.
Okay, so you've got this instant raw material. But raw isn't usually sellable, is it? How do you take those generated files and turn them into something polished? Something that looks professional enough for a place like Etsy or, Amazon? Which brings us to part 2, the actual production pipeline.
Yeah, and this is where we hit the, let's call it the gotcha of automation. The AI doesn't just hand you a perfect, ready-to-sell PDF.
Figured as much. What's the first hurdle?
The first step And they noted it's a bit tedious as you have to download every single image generated, one by one.
Ah, okay. The manual drag. There's always one soul-crushing manual step, isn't there? Even in the automated future.
Seems like it. But okay, once you've survived the download-a-thon, the next step is design and assembly. And thankfully, that part uses another pretty accessible tool, Canva.
Canva. Right. Makes sense. Lots of templates there.
Absolutely. The sources definitely recommend leveraging Canva's whole ecosystem of templates. But, importantly, the choice of template isn't random. It's strategic.
Okay. Strategic how? Tell us about that design decision. Why does the template format matter so much here?
Well, when you're in Canva searching for kids' book templates, the guide specifically says to choose a square format.
Square. Why square?
They even mention an example template, something called Meet the Family. The reason seems to be that many AI image generators, maybe Nano Banana included, tend to optimize their output for aspect ratios close to 1.1 square.
Ah, I see.
So choosing a square template means less fiddling around, less cropping, less resizing needed to make the AI's image fit nicely onto the page.
That makes total sense. You're basically optimizing your workflow for the AI's default output. Smart. Reduces the post-production hassle.
Exactly, and the assembly process itself. Sounds like the easiest part of the whole chain, really.
How does that work?
Once you have your square template open in Canva, you just drag those images you downloaded the Nano Banana ones onto the pages. Spread them out a bit to fit.
Okay.
And the only real cleanup needed is to delete any placeholder text or excess text that might be lingering on the Canva template itself.
Right, get rid of the lorem ipsum.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. You download the final thing from Canva as a PDF, and boom, you've got a fully assembled, pretty professionally formatted digital book ready to sell.
It is fascinating how that flows. You link Nano Banana for the instant creation, then Canva for the professional polish and standard format. You could genuinely have a market-ready product in, what, minutes? Less time than it takes to brew a pot of coffee.
That's the idea. It completely collapses the traditional barriers to entry for this kind of content creation.
Which means, as you said, the race to market becomes absolutely everything. If anyone can create the content instantly.
Then the value shifts, right?
Yeah.
It moves entirely to distribution, to optimization, to finding that niche and just getting there first.
Exactly. Which pivots us perfectly into part 3. Okay, how do you actually make money? The monetization and optimization strategy. We have the PDF. Now, where do the customers come from?
So the model here is crucial. It relies entirely on selling these as digital downloads, PDFs only.
No physical products?
Nope. No printing, no inventory headaches, no shipping logistics. It's all digital, which means low overhead and theoretically infinite scalability.
Okay, digital downloads. And where are you listing these? Which platforms?
Well, they mention Amazon as a possibility, maybe a secondary platform to expand to later.
But the main focus?
The source material really pushes Etsy as the starting point. They emphasize it's much easier to get traction and start building sales momentum there, especially for these kinds of digital items.
Right, Etsy makes sense for digital downloads and crafty stuff, but selling on Etsy means you're competing against, millions of other products, right? If creating the book is now the easy part, the bottleneck must be getting found, discovery.
Exactly. And this is where the third AI tool comes into the picture.
Ah, okay. Another AI assist.
Yep, because you need serious search engine optimization, SEO. And for that, the creators of this method turn to ChatGPT.
Using ChatGPT for titles and descriptions.
Precisely. And the instructions they cite giving it aren't just generic like write me a description. They're asking for platform-specific optimization.
What was the exact prompt they mentioned using?
It was very targeted, very platform-aware, something like, I'm selling a kid's book on Etsy about a horse, give me SEO title and description.
Okay, so explicitly mentioning Etsy and the product type.
Yeah. It shows they're not just looking for nice-sounding sentences. They're trying to leverage the AI to generate the most effective keywords, the right search terms, specifically tailored to hopefully game the Etsy algorithm a bit.
So the pipeline is Nano Banana generates, Canva assembles, ChatGPT optimizes for Etsy. That's the trifecta.
That seems to be the core loop, yes.
But wait a second. If everyone watching the same YouTube video or reading the same guide uses those exact same 3 tools, and maybe even uses that exact same ChatGPT prompt, doesn't the optimization advantage just vanish instantly?
That is the absolute critical question this whole system raises, isn't it?
Yeah.
If thousands of people suddenly ask ChatGPT for the best SEO description for a kid's horse book on Etsy, what happens? They probably all get very similar, highly optimized descriptions.
Right. which just leads to massive saturation for horsebook.
Exactly, total saturation,
hmm
which is why the sources immediately pivot. They don't just stop at the horsebook example. They talk about the need for variation.
Variation. Okay, so finding different niches before the first one gets completely overcrowded makes sense. Did they suggest any specific variations that worked well?
Yes, the big one they highlighted was the coloring book concept.
Ah, coloring books. Okay.
It's a slightly different product type, but you use the exact same AI generation process. You just ask for line art instead of full color illustrations. And crucially, it taps into a really proven high demand category on Etsy.
And what was the prompt example for that similar structure?
Yeah, very simple. Make me a 10-page coloring book for kids about fish. Simple again.
Fish coloring book. Got it.
And the source creator immediately followed up, emphasizing that coloring books, in their experience, sell much better on Etsy than maybe the standard picture books generated this way.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, the thinking seems to be that even though it's a digital download, the use of the product is very tangible. Very physical kids actually color it in. Maybe that hands-on aspect gives it an edge over just a static digital picture book, especially in the Etsy marketplace.
That makes sense. The perceived value is different. And we know this isn't just theory, right? The sources provided some proof that people are actually buying these kinds of things. Market validation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They didn't just lay out the method. They showed examples of existing listings. They cited specific review counts for similar digital download items already on Etsy.
Like what kind of numbers?
Things like listings with 4,000 reviews, another with 700 reviews, others with 100 reviews, real numbers.
Okay, so definitely not zero. People are buying.
Exactly. It confirms that the demand is there for these niche, often low-cost digital items. It proves that if you connect the dots, Nano Banana for the speed, Canva for the polish, Chat GPT for the SEO, you can actually build sales momentum. People are doing it.
So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway for someone listening, maybe someone ambitious thinking about trying this? Our deep dive into this Nano Banana method revealed essentially a three-part content factory.
Right. Generation is basically instant with Nano Banana. Assembly is quick and easy using Canva templates. And optimization is AI-assisted with Chat GPT.
It seems like the main bottleneck isn't creation anymore. Something else.
The key insight, I think, is that the real limiting factor now, especially with that huge credit cost looming, is the speed at which you can identify a truly profitable niche and then hit that market before everyone else does, before that early window potentially closes.
Yeah, that credit consumption point keeps coming back. It puts enormous pressure on getting it right fast.
It really does.
Which brings us to a final provocative thought for you, the listener. If creating a decent product, like an 8-page book, costs you a staggering 10,000 credits, a potentially huge real cost soon, and you absolutely need to be profitable almost instantly, where does your effort really go?
Not into perfecting the art, probably.
Exactly. The effort shifts entirely away from creation and towards ruthless marketing, platform optimization, and niche discovery. If you were starting this today, you wouldn't spend weeks tweaking the perfect horse book. You spend all your energy trying to dominate the search results for the most obscure, high-demand, low-competition niche you could find.
So the question becomes, where can you apply this rapid pipeline? What unique niches exist? Maybe things so specific, so weirdly unique, that almost no one else has even thought to ask Nano Banana or ChatGPT about them yet.
Because the creation game, that might just be solved, or at least radically simplified. The discovery game, the optimization game that feels like the new frontier.